All right, all right, all right. What's up, folks, man? I had to immediately get on here after watching this sickening crap that I just watched. I think it's on CNN. As a matter of fact, I put in my community post. It's something I think. What's the fruitcake dude that does the CNN commentary? I can't think of that fool's name, but I think he's a part of one of the rich families from out in New York. The zesty fool. Dang, what's that fool? He used to have a show. I can't think, but he the producer of this trash that I see kind of being pushed as the agenda and narrative of what Donald Trump and many who think like him that want to erase away the tortures and horrors of American history, and that being the history of slavery, and how they want to make it and refashion this type of history to making it to where whites don't have to suffer this thing called guilt as it relates to this history. Now they put on this goddamn, and this black family is sick. They have some of the sickest mindsets, and I don't want to just exclude that to being with Southern blacks and how they have this kind of dormant and suppressed, feelings of always having to forgive and even apologize to those who come from bloodlines that have done them wrong. And with this documentary called The Simrils, so it's two families that share the same last name from somewhere down in South Carolina. The Simrils, what is that? Simrils or something like that, where the black family spells the name with just the one L, the white family spells it with two L's. Now, one of the members of the white family took it upon himself to get to reach out and speak to the black side of a family who just share similar last names. There's nothing that links them even being close to being families, and there's nothing that she even brought anything to pulling this connection together, because there's no way to formulate a connection. You don't formulate a connection through bonding and celebration and dancing and all that old jubilee mumbo jumbo crap that they think that they want to put together to have them for to just get over it type situations relates to their history. Think they have moved past that. This is the one to repatch things, and there ain't no repatching it in the fashion in which they went about it with this documentary. And this is more of that black family just having to get over it and forgive them, which I don't think the black family even gave a damn about it. But here are these people reaching out to them to state, my father is a preacher and he's going to do a sermon on racial healing and moving forward and all this other crap. And then after this, we'll have a picnic. We'll have a dinner at a cemetery where both of our loved ones are. But in this documentary, they get into how the Klan came in and they took some black woman and had their way with her, tortured her, and all this other stuff. And really, what this documentary doesn't show is the deep side of the whole of the tragic history. They don't really go into the history. They don't even approach it like that. It is such a whitewash piece of ish documentary, really just showing look how we can just come together and be so kumbaya about this history in which the blacks have endured, but they come over here and they're all hunky dory with us. And you have black folks on there talking about the other Simbril side of the family is their best friends and all that. What is to be celebrated? Oh, this is like some of the most ignorant shit. And Mark Summers, I was waiting for you to be the first person to comment. He says your opinion doesn't matter. Says they don't agree with you. Man, they don't agree with you. Because you'll see a bunch of black families doing it, but they'll definitely go down there. And this ain't to make a thing like it's about Southerners and this and that, because LA has some effed up blacks, the Midwest as well. But we'll never come to want to dance around and plead to be friends with people from a family that has some six-sided crap linked to them. Ain't no damn way anything like that to pop off. But like I said, this shit was sick, and only people like Mark Sumners, who is very ignorant, would support this type of stuff. This type of documentary, they sit all in their houses and say more black people should really do these type of things. Go meet with the people who own them, and forget things, patch things up. Like, get the fuck out. Come here so we can tell you the stories of what our sick great great grandfather did to your people. Let us reopen these wounds and all this other ignorant crap, and just watch them accept it, not really express any anger, and get over it. And then we're going to teach the world how to get over it. This is what Donald Trump is pushing for this nation here, is he erases the dark side of American history because it makes us feel oh so bad. Get the fuck out of here. It says they are doing it to says they're doing it to remember the slave ancestors. Man, you don't remember no damn ancestors. Black people have always known their damn ancestors without going to any motherfucker who was owned the plantation that they fucking toiled soil over. That's how you don't listen to new arriving immigrants like Mark Sumners when it comes to American history. Just because you have some attachment that makes you white once you touch soil over here, Mark, doesn't mean you have an understanding of the history here on this land, buddy. Just something you have to learn, something you should sit back and stay silent on because you know nothing about it. Your family didn't own nobody, so therefore that means you stay quiet about it. You guys are too busy over there fighting little conflicts over in your plague-filled countries that you're in before you start wars and tear them apart. But that's simply it. You don't learn your ancestry through plantation owning ass people who've always hid their history. Even the white dude who came to this who came up with the ideal of reaching out to a black family with their last name stated that their grandfather, who was a South Carolina football player for the Gamecocks, had lied to them about their history, and that's probably truly their history. That they come from Italians, they came from Italy, and then all of a sudden they come out talking about that was a lie, and this is who they are. And now this black family believing that's who the hell these people are. These people haven't meant nothing to this black family outside of a last name, but their plights to American society are not attached. They are not family. There was no intermixing within the white Simril family. There's no attachments. Like, that's what's so stupid about it. And to present a documentary like that is just ignorant. It's fuck on CNN's behalf and the Donald Trump administration agenda, as they have went in there and put down an iron fist over the control of the major networks. And then Mark says I don't necessarily agree with them, but I don't have to. Says that's their story, not mine. No, that should have been their story silently, not to present it and making it as this is a template for other people to go out of how to address the ills of American history. Nah, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Mark Summers says they're learning through a court document. What's the court document? When all they recited is that shit may be new to some of the white folks. So the white folks, it ain't new to the white folks. They knew that shit. But for them to go in there and present nothing that has not already been told about the history, this is why I've got to teach you, Mark Summers. It's a great teaching moment. That's why I like when I cover these American history related topics and then have you come over here and make comments, and then I really have to teach you because you don't know anything. You're a new arrival to this country. Not sure who's your first relative to land here in America, but I'm pretty sure it's relatively late. So meaning you're new arriving to this country. So you don't know none of this stuff. You just don't want to hear it. It makes you feel bad, and you try to attach yourself to it. There's nothing for you to attach to it at all. You don't represent America. He says all people should honor the slave ancestors in their stories. Man, get the fuck out of here. You don't represent that shit with people who come from a lineage that has owned your people, and people who share in the what do Confederate minded people who celebrate the Union or the Confederate Army, they say that's part of their heritage. Yeah, you don't share or celebrate with people who have owned your people, who celebrate in the heritage of their people owning your ass. So therefore, being that your ignorance show every time you speak on here, Mark, and the reason why you never jump on a panel, because you know with your limited knowledge on shit, that you would just sound like a fool and confuse yourself ever jumping on the panel where I'll let you speak whatever you think you know and do all this other speaking, and out of just speaking calmly will make you look stupid and you'll feel less about your damn self. And then Mark Summers says what is the cutoff says to be a new arrival? It says what year do you have to be here before? Well, if you got here in the 1900s, you're a new arrival, homie. And you got anything later than that, like some of y'all still arriving over here, you're like an irrelevant arrival. Like I mean, you're a new arrival. You got here in the 1900s. You're new, and that's when your people start to land here. You're in New Jersey, so you definitely got here very late. Definitely got here late. But that's all I want to say, man. I couldn't believe what I watched and how sick it was. And then me to having a greater understanding, like this is all Trump's control and domineering presence inside of America's media as he controls it, as he goes through forcing networks to fire their biggest stars because they make comments that go against what his beliefs are. The domination of freedom of speech coming from a bozo that in trick fools that others will take away your ability in free speech. But once again, like I always stated, like it always happens to what leads people like Mark Summers to end up in America is the fact that they have leaders in their country who practice this type of crap that Trump trying to be on, and it doesn't end well for people who try to enforce that type of shit through their leadership. It ends very badly for him, and it's going to end badly for Trump. And then you have people acting as if they were never with that. And then they'll start recognizing the ills of Trump. And then they'll begin to condemn Trump after Trump is no longer here. Mark Summers says, I understand what you're saying. Of course you understand what I'm saying, Mark, because you're realizing how dumb you sounded by even writing a statement in the beginning of this live stream, homie. I always tell you, man, homie, this is the reason why I always say I'm always right, because y'all be so quick to respond on shit and you never process things or take the time to think about them, and then you sound extremely dumb, and then I always have to throw in your face. That's why I'm always right, which is just me throwing a like in a joking matter, because no one is always right. Mark Summers says, I understand what you're saying. What you're saying actually, he says, but you are just supposed to hate those people. Nobody says about hating people. And that's the other thing that shows your limited in knowledge, your limits in knowledge, Mark. Nothing is about hate. Black people don't exhibit these things of hate towards other races of people like that. It's just when you address a history, what the fuck is the like about it? You gotta be a goddamn fool. It says these people, we ain't going after white folks the same way that the victims of the Holocaust have gone after ex-Nazi people. Like, get the fuck out of here. We just want the government. The other fact is that the government was complicit in what black people have endured. Now you got a government elected clown at president who wants to hide that shit. And you got black dummies who sit there and support this chump. And then and he says these people are these people are more about love and forgiveness. No, they're not. Says you are more about hate, and says hate and holding on to things forever. Man, I have no attachments to the South or its history. I'm a Los Angeles born and raised ass black dude. And then, but I have opinions when I see ignorant shit, because a lot of ignorant shit that comes from out of Bible belt ass people and shit. And then Mark Summers says you arrived 7 years before me. Said, but your mom should have swallowed you. Now that's what your motherfucking mama should have did with you when she was out there slinging that thing, trying to get a free boat ride over to America. She should have swallowed you, but she was too busy swallowing and getting banged on the other end and shit. So it's a possibility you having two dads, one or two. Probability. That's why probability was one of her best subjects. And then Mark Summers says it ends badly, says for everyone, says, and it doesn't end, says it doesn't end that fast. No, trust me, it ended fast, homie. It ended very bad for Hitler. He talked all that goofy ass shit, Mussolini, the list goes on. The old Spanish president, all that other shit. And Mark Summers says, no, says, I just understand more says perspective, says that you're not capable of. You don't understand, Dr. Mark Summers. You're fucking delusional goalpost moving imbecile. And then Mark Summers says slavery didn't last that long, says under the US government, says many states So many U.S. states has never had legal slavery. You don't even know how many legal states there were. The United States is full of 50 states. That's how dumb you sound, homie. Half of this nation was U.S. states. Like, you don't know what you be talking about. Like I said, you're a new arrival. You don't have an understanding of history, and therefore you say some ignorant and illiterate sounding ass stuff when you make comments on race, because that critical race shit hurts your feelings. It hurts Donald Trumpy's type feelings. The reason why you don't want people talking about it, you want people going to plantations and forgiving those who have owned them. Come to the plantation. Let's have a barbecue and celebration. Let us tell you the stories of what our old people did to you and have you cry about it. And then we hug it out and say, we forgive one another. Fucking idiots. That's all I got. That shit was stupid, homie. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.